Respected Chair, esteemed co-panelists, some of my mentors I see around, industry colleagues and friends. Very good morning. I can still say good morning here. So I think I would like to first express my gratitude to ISRO and CII for giving Airbus an opportunity to talk on the vast subject of international cooperation, and particularly on the sustainable development. I'll touch upon the Airbus perspective. I think before I get on to the way forward, what we see in India, I would also like to slightly highlight the legacy, what we as Airbus has achieved in India. Airbus has been a long-standing partner of ISRO, DRDO, various DPSUs, and the Indian industries. And I think some of you may recall, we have humbly started with the supply of mission-critical equipment to ISRO on various missions, right from traveling wave tube amplifier to entire INSAT, GSAT missions, to fiber optic gyro on Chandrayaan, to including the mission orbiter, the Star Tracker. That was at a record time, delivery time of 6 months, compared to the 12 months, what we have, just to adhere and respect the timelines, what ISRO was compelled then. We've also supported ISRO in establishing facilities, large facilities, particularly the compact antenna test facility, both in Bangalore, Ahmedabad, both in SAC and ISAC, URSC. And we are also now supporting URSC in establishing the CATF, the largest CATF in entire Asia. That's to be commissioned by mid of next year. So from then, we have transformed proactively into Make in India, beyond the regular equipments that we have sold. But we have looked at proactively, and I take pride in sharing, probably Airbus is the only foreign OEM who have done or engaged with the commercial arm of ISRO, the Department of Space, in joint development and marketing of communication satellites way back in 2006. So the Make in India is something that we as Airbus have started with India, starting 2006. That's something really credible that we feel and achieve thanks to ISRO and the collaboration that we've achieved. We have brought in the payload from Europe and coupled with ISRO's platform I2K, I3K, assembled, integrated, tested those satellites at ISRO facilities in Bangalore and launched from Kuru for an export customer. And that's something really incredible, I think, even today, that we take pride of. Beyond that, we have also extended our collaboration in the past, sourcing of launch services to launch Airbus manufactured satellites, the French prestigious Earth observation Spot 6, Spot 7, followed by the DMC-3, Novosar, and ALSAT as well, by PSLV from the Indian soil. And again, probably we are the only foreign OEM who take pride in sharing, would have given significant volumes of business to the commercial arm of Department of Space. That's on the legacy. Now, also going forward, we strongly believe in the Make in India, and we have initiatives that we are working with various stakeholders, with the Indian private industry, the NSIL, Department of Space, ISRO, and the entire ecosystem. Just to slightly digress from the topic on the space alone, but I think since there are some of the stakeholders from Indian Air Force, I would also like to touch upon the last year that we have signed for Indian Air Force with the Ministry of Defense for the first unique Make in India aerospace contract involving the Indian private industry for a production of C-295 transport aircraft with the Tatas. So, that's something that that's a unique program, and Airbus has taken the lead in establishing, together with Tatas, the entire supply chain as well as the Make in India initiatives to produce close to 40 aircrafts out of India, and the first 16 comes as a flyaway. So however, I think we have been, for the last 2 days, we've heard from Chairman ISRO as well as the Chairman in Space about the policy initiatives, which is quite good, and we are strongly looking forward to engage. Having said, couple of things that certainly I would like to highlight. What is the need of hour, particularly for Indian private aerospace industry? I mean, on behalf of the industry, there is a thin difference between space and, defense alone. And I think the industry has established the capex intensive infrastructure, not just to cater only space. The industry's infrastructure is also, there to cater to defense needs as well. But, I hope the policy which is going to come up would address certainly the convergence or the synergies between the Ministry of Defense as well as Department of Space, to ensure that whatever we can capitalize out of certain obligations that we have of defense is also going to help the Indian private space industry. Particularly, I would like to highlight on the offsets. OEMs are challenged today, particularly on the defense, with several $1 billion of offset obligations. I think even a portion of it, and I'm talking a portion of it, is allowed to discharge offsets through the sourcing of space equipment from the Indian private space industry would help Indian private space industry to really thrive. I think the need of hour is about the volumes for them. Having invested so much of capex, it is the volumes that they are looking for. The Indian ecosystem cannot grow, cannot dream to become or to achieve the status of SpaceX unless we have certain volumes in place. I think that's where I would really commend and thank Chairman ISRO's comment of Government of India being an anchor customer. I think indeed it is important that the Government of India should take that initiative to be an anchor customer and to encourage the Indian private space industry to see that there is a recurring volumes being assured or given at least to industry to sustain the volumes. As far as Airbus is concerned, we are quite engaged, again, as I said, both on the satellite manufacturing as well as on the launch services sourcing, that we are quite keen to engage with the Indian industry. Another perception that I often see or hear is about the startups as well as the existing tier 1, tier 2s of Indian space industry. I think I would only humbly request through the platform that the startups and the Indian private space industry needs to look at synergies and work together, not in isolation, but only working together would help the startups to sustain, particularly those startups looking at the upstream. They can only sustain in collaboration and in working together with the Indian private space industry beyond sharing the infrastructure of ISRO facilities would help them to sustain the business viability. Downstream, of course, one can do independently and sustain and grow into the success stories. But as far as Airbus is concerned, we have already signed 11 commercial contracts with startups, and we are engaging also with the various stakeholders, both from the Government of India as well as the private side, to see that there is a sustenance of business. We are trying to bring our own platforms to indigenize from India, not only to address the stakeholder requirements for India, but also to export in the medium term and the slightly on the longer term to also build up revenue out of here. So in a nutshell, I think all I would conclude is, really Indian industry is poised to grow, and collaboration is very imperative, and I'm really looking forward from Airbus perspective to see that there are synergies among the stakeholders that we can work together in achieving the success. Thank you.